We all know and love Cars 2 the game, right? But when I say that, what version do you think I'm referring to? Believe it or not, there are multiple different versions of Cars 2 the game for different consoles. To be exact, there are 4 different versions, and we will be talking about them today. Before we begin, I want to announce that I made a TikTok account and will be posting shorts both here and on TikTok, so if you're interested, go follow me over there. Of course, we'll begin with the most well-known version, Cars 2 the game on PS3 and Xbox 360. If you never played this, it's nothing like the previous games where you could explore on an open world. This game is more of a kart racer. More die-hard Cars fans would most likely prefer the original games, whereas non-Cars fans or casual gamers would much prefer this one. Me personally, I do prefer the originals, but I still really like this game. I don't want to talk too much about it since I'm sure everyone knows about it, but long story short, there's no story, only a few cutscenes here and there. The roster, in my opinion, amazing with over 50 characters, video on it coming soon. The tracks are fun and memorable and the music is orgasmic. Had to make this video not for kids. And the thing I want to ponder on here for longer are graphics. If you notice, this game looks really good for a 2011 PS3 game. The reflections, the textures, the animated characters on the side, the lighting, everything in this game looks great. But notice I said PS3 and Xbox 360 version. This game did also release on Wii and PC, but if you try to play it, the game is virtually identical to the main version, but the graphics were tanked down completely. Even on the PC version of all versions looks bad. We even lost the animated characters on the side and instead are just still images. The only saving grace of the PC version are mods. But other than that, this version is way inferior to the main version. If you have a Wii, get something else if you want to play this. Now let's talk about the PSP version. Of all the versions of Cars 2, this is the one that I barely played. Since I never owned a PSP, I used an emulator. And the game isn't that great. For the most part it looks similar to the original. But the big difference of course being the camera and the gameplay. This game is automated, mostly when it comes to turns. For the rest of the game you switch lanes like a temple run game. Overall this is not a fun game. There's nothing stimulating about it as you just avoid things. There's no strategy or anything, it's just boring. What is fun however is when you crash. You just blow up. So these games weren't that great, but the last game I'm gonna talk about is probably the most interesting of them all. The DS/3DS version is the last version I want to talk about. This game has many cool things about it. For example, this is the only Cars game in existence that actually follows the story of the movie. However, it's a heavily altered version, as not only does it start with a piston cup, but we even get 2 new locations for the World Grand Prix, France and Germany. Another thing that's really fun about this game is that you can also do spy missions. They're not the most exciting things ever, but they're still fun. In general, this is a very different game from the main versions, but if you have a 3DS, go try it. So to sum it up, these 4 versions of Cars 2 are very hit or miss, but they are interesting games in general. But this isn't the only game to have multiple versions of it. If this video gets 10 likes, I'll make this video but for the original Cars games.